Hey guys, Chris here again. First I want to apologise for the lack of videos recently. Been a bit crazy busy at work and not really had much time to get stuff done, and also there's not been a great deal of movie trailers out recently that I've wanted to watch or react to. Then there was the Animal Crossing Direct and the Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Direct, which Nintendo showed. I have seen them, but I didn't do reaction videos purely because I don't feel as invested in those titles as I am some of the other games and directs that I've had recently. So apologies for not doing videos for those, but I don't think my reactions would have been worth watching, unfortunately. But today's video, I'm going to do let's talk about games. Got some game. I've been playing loads of games recently, like in my spare time, and give my thoughts and opinions on what I've been playing, and like whether I think they're worth your money or not. So start going back to the summer. And I must admit, Switch has been taking up most of my time, to be honest. And the fact it's portable, the fact that I can, even if I had a long day at work, and take it up to bed and me play it in bed for like half hour before I go to sleep. Just is more accessible and doesn't require me to sit in front of the TV the whole time. I've had a couple of train journeys, I've taken it with me. Well, I've gone around my cousins, like taking that round, played a few games with him. It's just like that ease of use just makes Switch so much worth it, in my opinion. But I'm going to start talking about the games that have been filling up my last few months of playtime. First up, Splatoon 2. The sequel to the Wii U title. I love the first Wii U game. I love Splatoon 2. It's a lot of fun, and a lot of the events are pretty cool, and they're adding a lot of content as well. So a lot of the weapons, a lot of the classic levels coming back was a really nice touch. I haven't played in the last couple of weeks, unfortunately, because I have had other stuff on play, but like that's definitely been taking up a lot of time over the summer. Along with Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle, sorry. Yeah, Kingdom Battle is great. It's like, on paper, you read what it's going to be, and people's like, yeah, no, it won't work. But it is pretty awesome. So I love the combat. I love the character that they've injected into Mario and the Rabbids. They're pretty cool. I am really enjoying the game and like the strategy involved. So it's well worth picking up because each level's kind of in bite-sized chunks. So it is great to play on the go, as it were. So you can like do a little bit of the level, then kind of save it, and then go back later if you're like on the train journey or on your break at work, or whatever. It's pretty cool. These are all like pre-Eurogamer stuff. I've got my Eurogamer videos up on my YouTube channel if you want to have a look at my thoughts and opinions of Eurogamer. No, they're not great. I probably could have done a lot more footage, but while I was there, I wanted to try and soak it up. Didn't really use up all my battery in one go, so being quite conservative with the footage I took, and also my memory on my phone wasn't great, so didn't have a great deal of opportunity or storage to record all the stuff. It's kind of like a bit of a drawback on my front. I probably could have or should have made sure I had enough to do proper, like a more in-depth thing, but that's my last past videos anyway. So move on to October. So the games I've been playing since October. Excuse me. Fire Emblem Warriors. If you love Hyrule Warriors, you're gonna love this. It's a lot of fun. The battlefields are great. It's very much a Hyrule Warriors format and Dynasty Warriors format. So if you play those games, like them, there's a strong chance you like Fire Emblem. The first time I played at Eurogamer, I was really thrown off by the controlling different characters and like having to look after their health and stuff like that. So it's very much more in depth. Like, you have to be more aware of what's going on around you. Whereas Hyrule Warriors, you're running around the battleground from area to area to complete the missions. You can switch to characters who are nearer to it. Then you have to make sure that those characters are suitable to go up against the enemies that are there. So it's a lot to think about, a lot to take in. But it's like I enjoy it. Probably just said this earlier in the videos, like some of the games to talk about, there might be a few little spoiler things, or I have to mention specific things. Won't go in too depth into the stories or that, but with Fire Emblem Warriors, I do think they do kind of rehash the same kind of mechanic a lot, especially when they're introducing the different factions and different characters. Like, you'll meet one, and then another one will come along and think, oh, you brainwashed, oh, you've kidnapped, oh, you've taken my friend, comrade, sister, brother, prisoner. You will die, kind of thing, and it kind of rehashes that quite a bit. So then you have this whole battle, then you have to defeat the character you're meeting. Yeah, it's just a bit kind of it would have been nice to see a bit more originality, or maybe not use that to go like a different route in telling the story and introducing the characters. But it's a lot of fun, very good. You get to go up against some classic Fire Emblem characters, which I guess is why they did that kind of approach. It's a very fun game. It looks beautiful. Runs really well on handheld as well, which is really good. The game that I've been spending a lot of time on recently, which is pretty much the best game I've played for a long time, Super Mario Odyssey. Yeah. Again, there's a lot of these are Switch ones. I have got a couple of Xbox games I'm going to talk about shortly. But Mario Odyssey is not the most difficult Mario game in the world. Like, there are tricky parts and tricky sections. To do like a mission structure, like, you've got some which are really easy. It's not actually classed as this in the game, but there are like certain missions that are more difficult than the others. It's a lot of fun. The capture mechanic brings so much more to a Mario game. Just working out what you can do with each thing you capture. Me and my mate just beat it covered on Sunday just gone, so I've completed the story mode. Now I'm on the post game stuff, and it's just amazing how much more stuff's been opened up from the post game stuff. There's so much to do, so many little mechanics and twists and little elements that you haven't seen before. And it's like, one of my favourite missions in the actual story is the Metro Kingdom. And the last one in the Metro Kingdom is like a whole Donkey Kong themed level, where it's like a 2D side scroller where you're on the 8-bit kind of look. And it's just like, you're on this 8-bit thing, but you're going around all the 3D buildings and worlds, and it's just absolutely amazing. Definitely one to play if you get a chance. And for me, it's probably the strongest contender for Game of the Year. Breath of the Wild is also an amazing game, but Mario Odyssey just, yeah, for me, blows everything else out of the water at the moment. I'd say it's not the most difficult. It's just one of those things you can sit back, relax, have fun playing. If you want something that's super hardcore and challenging, there are moments which are like that, but it's not going to be the most challenging game you're going to play of the year. But it's a hell of a lot of fun and a lot to do and a lot to see, and like so many little nods and hints and kind of references to old things, which is really great. Yeah, so moving on from one really great platform adventure game to one which I had high hopes for. I'll show you what it is, and I'll go through what my feelings are with it. Sonic Forces. Yes, Sonic Forces. Sonic Forces is a difficult one because I don't consider it a bad game, but it's not where I wanted it to be in terms of how good it is. It had a lot of potential, a lot of the frustrating thing is you can see the potential in the game. You can see what they're going for. You can see what they're aiming for, but they just don't deliver for me, unfortunately. So I'm gonna be honest. My most favourite 3D or recent Sonic games since I went 3D are Sonic Adventure 2 and Sonic Generations. The reason I love Sonic Adventure 2 is because it's the first time Sonic went proper. Well, not really the first time. It's like one of the main times I went like full proper invested story. So it's like epic scale, lots of story elements, lots of very cinematic and cutscenes, which I absolutely loved. It's by far my favourite Sonic story. The way the cutscenes led to the different things, how they handled the extra missions and levels as well was really good, and how like each level was a completely different environment and theme. Like every now and again you had different characters in the same location, but it didn't feel rehashed, and it was just like, for me it's a really great game. I spent lots of hours on it. Played it on, got it the day release on the Dreamcast. Played it on GameCube as well. It was absolutely fantastic. Even though it's not the most well received by critics, but for me it is that game. That is like the best story in a Sonic game for me. What I liked about Sonic Generations was, for me, they got the gameplay right. Like the controls worked perfectly for me. So I'm more than happy to play the game. Both modern and classic Sonic, it's just like both handled great. It's great seeing the different levels and like the different reimaginings of the levels. So for me, Sonic Generations played brilliantly when Sonic Adventure 2 had this fantastic story. And my hope for Sonic Forces was that was going to bring the two together. It was going to bring the story and like the global kind of feel of Sonic Adventure 2, where it was kind of like you felt like it was a global adventure because of the different locales, different places you went. And it's going to bring the game. I wanted it to bring the gameplay of Sonic Generations, but for me, unfortunately, it didn't. The story I love. Sonic Forces has got a great story behind it. Really like the thing behind Infinite. I like how it ties into Sonic Mania. I'm not going to go too depth into the details. There is spoilers, like I did mention a little while ago. That I probably just said at the beginning of the video. But yeah, it's just like I really like the concept of the story, where they're going with the story. But it's just, for me, the way they've implemented a lot of the stuff doesn't work properly. It doesn't feel like it's a global game. Like, it does kind of hint that like the whole world's been invaded by Eggman, going by the trailers and kind of what you're told in the story. But realistically, you only really go to 5 different locations. And like each character has like probably multiple levels in the same locations, and it's just, I would like to see more variety in the levels, like go to different places, go to different zones. It's kind of like they've tried to be familiar with levels, like it's either remake the level or don't, just do something new. The main examples of this are Green Hill Chemical Plant and Death Egg. They all do make an appearance in the game. And for me, it's just I don't like the Chemical Plant for some reason. For example, some are like it looks completely brand new, but then there are other levels where it has a strong callback to like the Mega Drive Sonic 2 Chemical Plant. I think the fact it was used in Sonic Mania as well is kind of like, it feels too fresh to be done again. So like, redoing it twice in 1 year is a bit full on for me. But yeah, I would have loved more locations. The level design wasn't as imaginative as it has been in some other games. They could have done a lot better, in my opinion. Some of the levels are brilliant. There's some that I really love. There's like one where you're playing Sonic and you're escaping the Death Egg. You got like outside sections and you grinding. Really took me back to Sonic Adventure 2. And like the space levels there. And I was like, yeah, I was getting excited. I was like, yeah, hopefully we'll get more of this. But it just didn't carry on. So yeah, it's frustrating because the story's great. The gameplay's decent. The controls are solid. The thing with Sonic games, each one you have to get used to the handling because it is slightly different. For the most part, it's pretty spot on. There are some levels where you felt like it was a bit of a cheap death if you died. Whereas either like you rebounded off something and you end up falling down a hole, or you got like the moving screen sections where you have to beat the screen, but because of where an object was or an obstacle was, it prevented you doing the jump, the very specific jump you needed to do to get onto the platform to get past it. It's tough where it didn't. I'm not gonna say understand why I need to say like it's a tough game, but it's just like some bits just were unnecessarily tough purely because of the timing when you got to the area, or just like the circumstances you find yourself in there. Yeah, Sonic Forces is a difficult one because I would say I enjoyed it. There's kind of frustrating bits, but it's just a bit disappointing overall. Because I really did think they were going for the Sonic Adventure 2 style story with Sonic Generation style gameplay. And on the whole, I think the Sonic Generations gameplay does kind of come through, but it's just the melding of the two just doesn't really work properly for me. Like, you need more variety in the levels. Just needs to feel more global. And like the world map just doesn't work for me. It's like too cluttered, and it gets confusing trying to find your next level sometimes, because each level comes up as a pin on the map, and it's quite zoomed in, so you having to go around and try to find your pin. It could be right at the other side of the map. Yeah, just if they'd done like a map a bit more like Sonic Adventure 2, that would have been a lot better in my eyes. But yeah, that's my thoughts on Sonic Forces. I feel like they might have rushed it a bit. I think they kind of wanted to try and get out for this year, so they kind of threw everything at it. And they obviously at some point during the year realised it isn't going to be like the blockbuster game everyone wanted. So that's why it didn't come out at the full price. It came out at the mid-range price. I think Sega did realise that it might be a bit of a disappointment and then opted for the lower price, so people weren't too disheartened or unhappy or was dissatisfied with it. But that kind of wraps up my Switch games for the moment. We talk about kind of Xbox games I've been playing recently. So my Xbox has been playing second fiddle to Switch and how much I've used it. Next game, or the game I've been playing, Assassin's Creed Origins. Must admit, I haven't owned an Assassin's Creed game since Assassin's Creed 3 on the Wii U. I played 4. I played it at Eurogamer when I went a few years ago, when it was on show there. For me, Assassin's Creed was all starting to feel a bit stale, a bit samey, and wasn't a fan of some other things I did. But Assassin's Creed Origins I think is good because they kind of hit the reset button a bit, Like, I've changed a lot of things. And I'll say, because it came out the same day as Mario Odyssey, I played both. Mario Odyssey just grabbed me a lot more instantly than Assassin's Creed did, so I've burned through Mario Odyssey. I played like the first chapter bit of Assassin's Creed, and I'm really enjoying it. So I will be spending more time with it, definitely. Yeah, it's like, I really like the Ancient Egypt setting, like a lot of the lore they're investigating there. So it's very much one to carry on with. A new arrival today, Star Wars Battlefront 2. Looks pretty good. I did play the beta a little bit. I was hoping to see how matched on it. I was being KO'd left, right and centre. Yeah, I haven't played this game properly yet, apart from the beta, because it's currently installing on my Xbox. But I like the look of the game. I like the fact they got a proper story mode. It's a brand new story as well. But I'm a bit worried about the reports I've been hearing about the pay-to-win loot box system, where if you don't pay to buy loot boxes, you can spend like 40 hours to unlock something you could get instantly. That's kind of like not how they should work, in my opinion. Yeah, so I'm not overly looking forward to getting into the loot box system. So I was hoping to see how it matched when I was playing the beta. I imagine I'll probably be hopelessly outmatched when I go in with the... because I won't be paying for stuff. That's not me. Like, I very rarely pay for add-on things. Like, I bought the Smash Brothers DLC, bought the Mario Kart 8 DLC on the Wii U. That's only the real DLC I've got, really, to be honest. So I'm not really going to pay out for loot boxes, because it feels a bit like Candy Crushy, and like Candy Crush is a free game. You don't pay to get the game, but if you're paying like 50 quid to get a game, you shouldn't then have to carry on paying. If it was in-game currency, fine, not a problem. But to use real money on top of the 50 quid you paid, not for me, unfortunately. So that's my main concern going into the game. Like, is it going to be a bit of a handicap not doing the pay-to-play stuff or pay-to-win stuff? Yeah, I'm gonna give that a go a bit later on when it's all installed. Should be a bit of fun. Both Assassin's Creed Origins and Battlefront, both mentioned their Xbox One X enhanced. Xbox One X, I'm not gonna get. For me, I don't know how Microsoft can justify charging people that price where it's not a brand new system. I know it's like a whole different chipset or like a whole new kind of components. It's a lot more powerful. But in that case, just relaunch it as a new console brand. Do it as the next generation. It's not too early to go next gen yet. So obviously Nintendo have with the Switch. They've left the Wii U behind. So there'd be nothing wrong with Microsoft deciding, okay, let's go next gen. Let's do the Xbox whatever, or Xbox X, just remove the one from it. And for me, it's not just the fact it's a stupidly expensive console for an update of an existing console, but it's the fact I need to get a new TV, new sound system. It's just like, it's not worth the investment for me. Because the fact I play my Switch more than anything shows that I don't really go for graphical ability. I go for games, but in the performance and like the quality of the games. For me, Nintendo Switch had the strongest launch lineup, or like first year lineup that I can remember. I'm looking at the games I got, and so many are brilliant games. So yeah, for me, Xbox One X isn't on my radar. It's not something I'm interested in. I will be disappointed if they start doing Xbox One X exclusive games, because it's kind of, again, it's not an Xbox One game if it's got limitations on. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the Xbox One X. For me personally, it's not something I'm interested in or looking at getting. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the games I've been playing recently and coming up. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 does interest me. Is one I'm looking into getting. So it looks looks like a fresh, like, Zelda-like in like the gameplay. I did enjoy Xenoblade Chronicles X and Xenoblade Chronicles, so I'm looking forward to giving this one a go, seeing what I think of it. But yeah, gonna wrap this up now because just I've been talking for about 26 minutes. Well, next time I get some more trailers coming out, some good stuff coming out, I'll definitely make sure I get on those with that. So got more videos coming out. If you've got any comments about the games I've mentioned, anything you want to say, any disagreements or agreements you got with me, feel free to put them in the comments below. Let's have a conversation about it. Like, comment, subscribe, and yeah, until next time. Chris out, thanks.